Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If today is your first time, please subscribe, like and share. Returning subscriber, thank you for always here. In today's video, I'll be teaching you how to cut your blouse without darts. Let's jump right to the video. I'm going to make use of 40 inches as bust for the measurements. If you are going to cut blouse or top, you need your shoulder measurement, your bust measurement, your waist measurement and your hip measurement to get the perfect cutting for your top or blouse. In today's, make use of 40 inches for the bust. I'll make use of 36 inches for the waist measurement, while the hip measurement I'll make use of 42 inches. Shoulder measurement I'll make use of 16 inches. If you want to know how to measure your shoulder length and your armhole, please watch my previous video so that you understand how to cut your shoulder length and your armhole, both for front and back. So when you are cutting your blouse, you measure armhole length stops, you measure your bust line, your waistline. Your waist measurement will be from your half length. It will be from your half length. If you want to measure your half length, you measure from your shoulder length to upper part of your navel. That's the half length. So the half length I'm making use of today, I'm making use of 16 inches for half length. So when you are cutting your blouse, you make sure you give a blouse, you give sewing allowance from the up and the down, from the blouse, from the hip line. You give sewing allowance. Likewise the side, you give sewing allowance. So in this blouse measurement, I'm making use of 25 inches for blouse measurement. So from the shoulder length, I'll mark my half length, which is 16. With the sewing allowance, I'm marking 16 and a half. My blouse length, I'm marking 25. I'm marking 26 inches. Why? Because I'm going to sew at the shoulder length, and likewise I'm going to sew at the hip. Mark 26 inches for my blouse length. Why? Because I will join at the shoulder length. Likewise I will sew it at the blouse length, at the hip length. So I'm marking it 26 inches. Earlier I said our waist measurement is 36. 36 you divide it by 4, which is 9 inches. The hip is 42 inches. The hip measurement is 42. You divide by 4, it will be 10 and a half. Our bust measurement is 40 divided by 2 is 10. So I'll measure 10. Then with 10 and a half. Here I'll measure my 9 inches plus the allowance, make it 9 and a half. My hip line measurement, I'm marking 10 and a half plus my sewing allowance, make it 11 inches. Let's connect it together. This one is my bust line, waist line. Here is my hip line. Now I'll connect from here to here. I'll connect my bust to my waist and to my hip line. This is how to cut your blouse without that. Or to give your blouse a perfect and a good looking, you have to minus this your hip line, minus half, mark it up, minus 1 inches. Now you now connect it together like this, so it will give you a curve shape. Let me cut it out from this side. This is your blouse measurement. This is the front part. If you are cutting your back, you're cutting your blouse, you have to give opening to your blouse. It's either you give opening to the back or you give opening to the front. For this one, I'm giving opening to the front, back part. You give sewing. It will cut the back part. You give the back in the back part. You give zip allowance. And our zip allowance I'll be using for this one is 1.5 inches. Measure your 1.5. Measure 1.5 all through. This is my 1.5 inches, like the way I'm doing right now. This is the back part of your blouse, while this one is the front part of your blouse. If you want to know how I cut the armhole, please watch my previous video. And if you want to know how to cut the length, watch my previous video. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.